GR Sports Analysis. Starting off with a recap from yesterday's games. Chicago at Sacramento. Zach LaVine, he did not get 15 points, sadly. He took the shots, but they weren't falling for him. He ended with 8. DeMar DeRozan, 15 points. It went through. Nikola Vucevic, 6 rebounds. It went through. Cashed those for that game. Toronto at Golden State. Curry for 15 points. He cashed 15 to maybe 20. He did not end up getting 20. I think he had 17. Buddy Hield over 9.5 points. That did not come through for us. Same with Zach LaVine type of thing. He took the shots, but they didn't fall. New York at Charlotte. Yusuf Nurkic over 5.5 points. He cashed that. Mitchell Robinson was a DNP. Future reference for myself, I will not be, I will be doing a better analysis on players to not post a DNP. I noticed later on in the days that, hey, these players are not even playing today, so I need to do better on that. So future reference, won't be having as much DNPs anymore. I'm going to do a little bit more research. Milwaukee at Lakers. I did predict that game right. I said in my last video that Milwaukee is the better team statistically. And I said all that when I thought Austin Reeves and Doncic were playing. But Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic did not play, and it ended up in a Milwaukee blowout. Gary Trent Jr. over 1.5 threes made. He went through, cashed. Luka Doncic's DNP. Giannis 20 points, maybe 25. He cashed. He ended up with, I believe, 28. Kevin Porter Jr. over 8.5 points. Did not come through. And then Damian Lillard was a DNP. So pretty good day. We went 6-3 out of the 9 picks that were in play. And there were 12 picks overall, 3 which were DNP. So yeah, 6 picks went through, 3 didn't, and 3 were DNP. It's all good, man. Let's get on to the video though. Alright, welcome to the next part of the video where I talk about the player analysis. And I also do have some money lines to think about. And I got games I want to talk about that do have a chance for a higher player prop percentage to go over. And let's get into it. So for the first game, Houston at Miami, got Tyler Hero for 20 plus points. I'm going to show you the odds as well using FanDuel. If you don't have FanDuel, there's other sports books out there that may allow you to alternate some of these lines. So Tyler Hero for 20 plus points. His line is at 24 if you want to take his line. I think 20 points is great value. He's 5 for 7 against them head to head. He got 27 against them this year. His last 10 games, he's gone over 7 out of 10. Last 20, 14 out of 20. At home this season, he's 19 for 31. But I like how he's 100% at home head-to-head, even though that is last season and the season before that. I do think it's still Tyler Hero. And what I love about Tyler Hero today is that he comes to play on a Friday. If you see his stats, out of the 10 games he played this season on a Friday, he's went over 20 points in 8 out of the 10 games. Even versus Western Conference teams, he's 4 for 4. So I like Tyler Hero for 20 plus. Let's see. Now we have Fred VanVleet for 4 assists. Go over to him. I like Fred VanVleet. His line is at 6 assists. But what I do like about 4 is that he's 100% head-to-head. 11 out of 11 games. Last 30 is 23 for 30. And if you look at his games away, In his last 30 games, he's never gone back-to-back games, and this season away, he's never gone back-to-back games without getting 4 assists. So we really like Fred VanVleet here for 4. And just as something also, the picks that I have in orange are the picks that I will be taking most likely. If it's, the color and the font is black, that means they're good picks, but I might be hesitant to take them. Just something to think about. Next, we have Jabari Smith over 5.5 rebounds. I do like this prop, even though I said the black font is, kind of hesitate to take those type of props. But what I do like about this is that he's 100% away. In his last 21 games away, he's cashed this 15 times. And also what I like is that on a Friday, in his last 30 games, he's cashed this line in 24 out of 30 games. Against Eastern Conference teams this year, he's never went back-to-back games where he did not get over 6 rebounds. So this is a very good prop to take. Even though I said I'm hesitant on it, I can see myself taking this prop actually. So if I wanted to take, I might bump him down to 4 rebounds on an alternate line just for some, guaranteed kind of bet. Nothing's guaranteed, but 4 rebounds. I would definitely take Jabari Smith. If you want to take him over 5.5, I do believe he's going to go over. Next pick, we have Bam Adebayo for 8 to 10 rebounds. Go over to him. Bam Adebayo. His line is at 9.5. At his line at 9.5, he's 4 for 5, sitting at 80%. Head to head, getting right on 10 at the top, on the dot. And the reason we have him for 8 is because at home this year on a Friday, he's 5 for 6, 7 for 10 in his last 10 games at home on a Friday. And if we look at Friday period, he's 9 for 10. Head to head, he's 100%. And in his last 20 games, he's cashed this line in 16 out of 20 games. So I do like Bam Adebayo for 8 rebounds today. I know Bam is a player that, he doesn't perform well for rebounds, all the time. But I do think Bam Adebayo has a chance today to get 8 rebounds. Going on to the next game, Charlotte at OKC. I didn't really look into this game too much, but I just picked, every time OKC plays, I literally pick Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for 20-plus points. I also have him under 32.5. And Shai Gilgeous for 20, I mean, he's on like 50-plus games getting 20-plus points. So, I mean, it's pretty well. I mean, I know he's been resting. He hasn't played since the 16th, so, I mean, that's good. Charlotte is a good defensive team, so they can have the ability to hang in the game, maybe the first half or second half. Early in the second half, they do have the ability to hang into the games. The reason I said under 32.5, though, is because he's never went over 32 points against Charlotte. He had 22 this year against them. At home, 16 for 34. Maybe you could take him for 25 if you want value. I would say under the game line, over 25 if you want value, and then and over 20 points if you want, kind of a less sweat of a bet. Head to head, 100%. And, this year he's got this 66 out of 67 games. So 20 points for Shai, pretty juiced up actually. Probably like minus 1,000 or something. But yeah, that's what I have for that Charlotte at OKC game. Next game, we're looking at Detroit at Dallas. For Detroit at Dallas, wait for it to load. I did have Cade Cunningham for 20 points. His line is at 27.5. Not that far off, so it's good value on it. He dropped 40 on Dallas January 31st. He's cashed this line 53 out of 65 games this year. In his last 30 games, he's cashed this line in 26 out of the 30. Away, his last 10 games away, he's cashed this line. His last 20, he's hit this line at 18 to 20. Now, Cade doesn't perform well on Fridays, but, he hasn't went back-to-back yet. So, over for 20 points for Cade Cunningham. I also have Tim Hardaway Jr. over 2.5 rebounds. That is a normal prop, a 50-50 prop, probably minus 110 to 130, minus 130 value on that. The reason I chose that is because he's 100%, and he had, that is not Tim Hardaway. That was Cade. But for Cade, for Tim Hardaway Jr., the reason I chose him is because he had 5 rebounds against Dallas on the 31st. Also, what I like about him is that every time he's gotten two rebounds in his last 20 games, he went over the next game and got 3. So you look right here, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 7, and then 2. We're hoping for another over right there. He's this year in his last 30 games on a Friday, he's never went back-to-back games without getting 3 rebounds on a Friday. 1 day rest. Still, that was when he had 5 against Dallas. And that is his old team. So, he could potentially, go out there, maybe drop 10. Maybe get some 3-pointers, but I do see him getting 3 rebounds. He's probably going to play aggressive because it is his old team. Next game we're looking at, Memphis at the Clippers. Go over here. I had Kawhi Leonard. I believe I had Kawhi Leonard for 15-plus points. Let me see. Yes, I did. Kawhi Leonard 15-plus. That is a prop that I most likely will be taking today. Come down here to his usage. Put his usage up at 20. And his minutes at 25. And we'll see that he's cashed this line in 16 out of the 18 games he's played this season. 6 for 7 at home. In his last 30, he's cashed this line 29 out of 30 times. So Kawhi Leonard for 15. And then I also have Norman Powell over 1.5 assists. I actually really like this prop, but I seen that he is on minutes restriction. But 2 assists, minutes restriction, he should be pretty laxed. And the reason why I chose this is because 4 games span right here from OKC to Miami. This right here where my arrow is at, he had 4 games, and then we're looking at it right here where he has another 4 games. So we're looking for him to go over with it, probably 2 assists. Head-to-head, he's cashed this line in 7 out of the 10 games he's played them. And this year, he's cashed this line 30 out of 48 times. When he's playing away this season, he's never gone over 3 games. He's never gone over 2 games without getting 2 assists away. And if we look at on a Friday away, his last 2 games away on a Friday, he had 4 assists. That's what I have for that game. Norman Powell over 1.5 assists. Next, we have Boston at Utah. For that game, I have Kristaps Porzingis for 15-plus points and Jrue Holiday for over 3.5 assists. Let's go to that game. Boston at Utah. Still waiting to see if Jason Tatum is playing today. They do have Jrue Holiday listed as out. That is potential to change. Don't really know until closer to game time. So we have is Kristaps for 15 points. This cash for us the other day on the 18th. The video that we made, go check that one out. In the last 34 games that he's played this season, he's cashed this line in 30. Away games, he's cashed this line 16 out of 19 games. And he never went just one game in a row where he had just over 15 points. The next game, he cashed 15 points away. Pretty self-explanatory prop. Head-to-head, he's 100%. He got 19 against him the last time he played them. If we look at injuries as well, without Jaylen Brown, jumps up. In 6 games that he's played without Jaylen Brown this season, he's cashed in 4 out of 6. So we're liking that. And then also, what I do love about this Jrue Holiday prop is that is his original line. So it's minus 162. Pretty, that's a lot of quote unquote juice on that. But when you look at him, Jrue Holiday without Jaylen Brown playing, this jumps up tremendously to 7 out of 10 games this year. That without Jaylen Brown playing, Jrue Holiday had over 4 assists. Without Jaylen Brown as well, he's 100% head to head. I know those games are not this year, and the minutes are probably different, and the usage, all of that. But without Jaylen Brown, his usage and minutes are up. He averages around over 20 and then over 10% usage. And as we can see, in his last 10 games, 7 out of 10. So I do like this Jrue Holiday prop. Over 4 assists, 3.5. Next game, what we're looking at is Cleveland at Phoenix. For this game, I have Devin Booker, 15 plus points. Kevin Durant, 20 plus points. And then the only player prop that I have for this game is Tyus Jones over 7.5 points. The other props are alternate lines. So just looking at it real quick, Devin Booker, 15, KD for 20. I pretty much take those guys almost every day just because it's so automatic for them. Looking at KD for 20 plus points, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. His line is at 25. I would consider taking his line. But I'd rather take him, alternate it down to 20, where he's 8 for 8 head to head since 2021. In this game, 120, January 20th, he had 23. He's cashed this line in 50 out of the 57 games he's played this year. And also, he's never went one game this year in a row where he had under 20 points. If he's gone over one game and he didn't the game before, more than likely he will get 20 points the game after. Sorry if that's a little bit hard to understand, but we're just looking at it right here where it's just this one green candle and then the 3 green candles, and the rest is just, history. He's 27 for 30 in his last 30 at home. On a Friday at home, he's 2 for 3 cashing his line. He does have a 1-day rest, which jumps it up to 94%, sitting at 31 out of 33 games. Let's not spend too much time on that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Kevin Durant is also my favorite player. So he's, I'm going to take him for 20 every time. 15, I want to guarantee it. But Devin Booker, 15. It's pretty much guaranteed. Let's not spend too much time on this one. At home in his last 20 games, he's gone over. Last 30 games, 29 out of 30. At home on a Friday, he's 3 for 3 this season. In his last 21 games on a Friday at home, he's hit this line in 20 out of 21 games. So we also have Tyus Jones. And the reason why I do like Tyus Jones today is because Bradley Beal is listed as out. So without Bradley Beal playing, we'll look at that real quick. Without Bradley Beal, he's cashed this line in 18 out of 22 games. And since they're at home, he cashes this line in 11 out of 12 games. So Bradley Beal is a prop that I do like today. Tyus Jones is a prop that I do like today without Bradley Beal playing. I know it is Bradley Beal. He doesn't score much anymore. Especially because the Phoenix had a little spurt of games where they weren't as motivated as a team. But I do think Tyus Jones will get over 8 points for 4 layups. Maybe he might get 2 threes in a layup. I do think Tyus Jones goes over 7.5 points. And for the last player prop that we have, let's see. Sorry if you've seen the messages real quick. For 8 rebounds, we have Jarret Allen. Let's look at him. His line is at 10 rebounds. I would consider taking over 9.5 because he's never gone more than 2 games in a row where he's went under this season. So these 2 games right here, early January, cash the next. 2 games right here, mid to late February, he had those 2 games where he went under and then went over the next game. And then these 2 games right here, expecting him to go over. But that would be a sweat type of bet. So we have him at 7.5 right here, 8 plus rebounds, alternate line. The reason why I am choosing this is because this year on a Friday, he's cashed this line 11 out of 15 times. 1 day rest away, he's cashed this line in 8 out of the 10 games that he's played. And also with a 1 day rest period, he's cashed this line in 31 out of 39 games. And also Phoenix is ranked 24th in the league at averaging around 15 plus rebounds a game. So if Jarret Allen can get in there and get some rebounds, that'd be nice. Take him for 8 plus rebounds, alternate. Also right here, what I'll talk about before I end this video are games with a higher player prop percentage. And what I mean by those games is when the total is over, 232, 233. In between that right there, those are games that does have a higher chance of a player prop hitting. So we got Cleveland at Phoenix, sitting at their total at Cleveland at Phoenix, and their total is 234. Philly at San Antonio Spurs, their total is at 233. I don't have any props for that game, but if I were to do this game, I would look at Quentin Grimes, maybe Chris Paul assist, and then Champagnie. Those 3 players right there would be players that I would look at in that game. And then also we have Detroit at Dallas. Their total is the highest total for today in all the games in the whole slate. They have the highest total, sitting at 237. So games that do have a higher total does have a greater percentage for player props to go over. And then some money lines to think about before I end the video. I'm looking at Denver plus 100. We know that Jokic probably is not playing today. Murray is questionable, but I think this Denver team has been through it in their last 10 games, man. I do think they have, but they have never lost back-to-back games in their last 10 games. Just period. And in their last 10 games against Portland, they're 9-1. I'm pretty sure in some of these games Jokic did not play. And then in Portland, their last 10 games, they're 4-6. They're on a 3-game win streak. They beat Memphis by 16. Washington, they beat them. Toronto, they beat them. But this still is a Portland team that, they're 19-16 at home. Against the spread, they are 40-29 this year. But what I'm mainly looking at is how Denver has not lost back-to-back games in the last 10. And I also like how they're 9-1 and 8-2 for the over/under against Portland. So maybe take over 227, or you can take, just to be safe, actually no, that's not a safe bet, but you could take Denver plus 1.5. I mean, I don't really recommend it, because then if they do lose, you might as well just, they have to lose by 1 point. So it's better probably just to take the money line for Denver at plus 100 plus money. And then the other two money lines that we're looking at is Cleveland at Phoenix. Pretty high odds, so you probably could parlay them together with the other money line that I have for today, which is, let me check real quick, the Clippers at minus 270. Before we get into that game, let's talk about Cleveland at Phoenix. Head to head, the Suns are 7-3 in their last 10. This year, Cleveland beat them on 118-97. I do think this Phoenix team, they are on a 2-game win streak, but I still think they, aren't. I feel like they're underperforming. But they got good players, but on defense they kind of struggle a bit. Moving over to Cleveland, they're 7-3 in the last 10. They are on a 3-game losing streak, and I have been betting Cleveland money line, and it has not been coming through to me. But I really do like today. I do think they have it in them today. It is Cleveland. They got something to prove this year. They're 26-8 away, while Phoenix Suns are 21-13 at home. I'm just mainly looking at how they match up, and statistically wise, Cleveland is the way better team, and I do think since they beat them 118-92 this year, at Cleveland at home, I do think going over to the Suns. They've been playing Western Conference games now for 3 days. They've been there for probably 4 or 5 days on the west side of the United States. I do think they're getting used to the time difference just a little bit. I do think they perform well against Phoenix, especially coming off a 3-game losing streak. So that's what I had. That's why I have them. And then the last one is LA versus Memphis. I do think the Clippers win this game. In the last 10 against Memphis, they're 7-3. Memphis last 10 games overall is 5-5. They're on a 2-game losing streak. And then the Clippers, their last 10 games, they're on a 7-3 spurt. Right now they're on a 1-2-3. They're on a 4-game win streak. They beat the Cavs 132-119. That is a good win. They blew out Charlotte, so it shows them that they don't care who they're playing. They come ready to play. And the games that they're winning, man, they're pretty much blowouts. And Memphis, I do know that Memphis does play better without Ja Morant, surprisingly. But, they don't have Ja Morant, and Brandon Clark seems to be out. Jackson, Bane, Kennard, they're going to have to match up with these guys like, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, Zubac, Dunn, and Harden. I do think Memphis is a great defensive team, and I know that statistically wise. Memphis is the better team statistically wise, but I just think, Kawhi Leonard and Harden, and Powell being back, I think this is the same team that started out the year. And if Powell gets lifted off minutes restriction, I would take LA all day. There's a reason why they're favorited in -270. But yeah, man, that's all I have for today. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. And I hope this really helped.